Shalom, Yasharallah. Giving all praise and glory to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As always, we're going to start with Colossians 3 and 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Give you thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. So all that we say is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior, going to the Most High on our behalf. And we thank the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob for everything, because He's worthy to be praised for everything. I've been going into the Apocrypha because you have the religious scholars and so-called religious scholars, I might say, that went to all these cemetery schools and come up with their ideas of how they say it's not canon. And I've showed you reasons why they would take it out. You know, because like I say, between Malachi and the book of Matthew, the Apocrypha's in there. And we're looking at the Maccabees, first Maccabees and second Maccabees, in the Cambridge University Press Apocrypha, which coincides with the original King James 611 Bible, which is in it. And we see a lot of things that's going on. So I want to continue to review the Apocrypha, and you'll see the things that went on, because between Malachi and the book of Matthew is the Persian Empire, which is in Malachi, and the Roman Empire, which is in Matthew. So the Greeks took down the Persian Media Empire, but it's not there. So that's why we're looking at the Greek Empire. This is before Mashiach came on the earth, and to see the things that happened to we the Israelites, or else you were hearing this about. You should already know this, because the Jewish people will be exposing this atrocity and this wickedness and this torture and this maiming, all this murder that was done to us as the children of Israel before Mashiach came on the earth in the Greek Empire. I want to go to the book of 2 Maccabees 6. I want to start at verse 8. We're going to read down. It says, moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen. The heathen are those that are outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. By the suggestion of Ptolemy, he was one of the 4 generals that Alexander the Greek appointed his kingdom to, knowing that he was going to die. Against the Jews, against us, the Israelites, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices, right? But before we go there, we got to jump up to verse 6, because this is what was ordained for us. You wonder why in the New Testament it says to the Jew and to the Greek. It says to the Jew and to the Gentiles. This is why. It's not talking about the other nations, it's talking about the Israelites. And this is why. We way in the Greek Empire. Long before the Roman Empire, long before Mashiach came on the earth, y'all. So, look at verse 6. It says, this is a decree that they decreed. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts. So our Sabbath days, every 7 days, a Sabbath day, just or no. Can't do it anymore. In the Greek Empire, the white man's so-called white man's first empire. This is what they ordained. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts. So we couldn't keep the Most High's feast days. Those are Most High's feast days. So we couldn't keep those. They eradicated those. Can't do them anymore. Listen. It's very important. Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So it's against the law for a man or a woman or child to confess himself at all to be an Israelite, a Jew, you see? So what did they have to call themselves? A Greek, Grecians, Romans, Greeks. You can see they even call themselves Antiochians. Like you call yourself American, they call themselves after the so-called white man, Antiochus. Antiochians. I mean, all this is here. If you read it, I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's not hard to understand, so I'm going to just read it to you. it says, and in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint. See, bitter constraint. To eat of the sacrifices. Eat of the sacrifices. Swine flesh and all kind of abominations. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in possession to Bacchus, carrying ivy, this idol. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, not for us, but against us, the Israelites, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. Telling us we got to be partakers of their sacrifices and the same fashions as the Greeks, the so-called white man. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. So if you go through this whole lesson, and if you don't get any understanding of where we were at, those that stood stiffly for the law of the Most High, and those that were sambos, that went right along with this, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. If you don't be like them, you don't act like them, you're going to be put to death. That's what they did. This is their history, their story, and our story, and knowing what happened to us as the children of Israel. Then might a man have seen the present misery. But there were two women brought, who had circumcised their children. They was putting people to death, but circumcising their boys on the 8th day. That's our law. Whom when they had openly led around about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. After they juggled around with their babies tied to their breasts, juggled around in the street, then they threw them off over a wall. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly and sacredly. They had to run into caves to observe the Most High Sabbath day, His holy Sabbath day. Secretly, being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together. They burned them up because they had made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. That's why you look at our Sabbath day, they're not really keeping the Sabbath day. They got you worshiping the sun on this first day of the week. Nimrod. Now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. A chastening of our nation. So we love it, he chastens. You say you only love Jacob. You won't see nowhere where he say love anyone else. Romans 9:13. Malachi 1:1-3. It's for the chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. That's why it tells you, just for encouragement, go to Numbers 14 and 18. See, the Most High is like this. Numbers 14:18. The Most High is long suffering, meaning he suffered long, a long time, and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgressions, and by no means clearing the guilty. Hear that? By no means clearing the guilty. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Say, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Exodus 34, 6 and 7. So we go to the third and fourth generation to get them. Exodus 34 and 6 and 7. And the Most High passed by before him and proclaimed the Most High power, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity, and will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the third and to the fourth generation. There it is. Exodus 20 and 5. Within the 10 commandments, he tells us. Nobody getting away with anything. Exodus 20 and 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. Let's read verse 3. No, should be number 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You making something tangible that you can see. And the Most High telling us this in verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, whatever you can see, nor serve them, whatever you can see. The Most High is a spirit. That's invisible power. For I, the Most High, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Because you can't love him if you don't do what he say do. He say, you love me, keep my commandments. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. That's how you show you love him. By doing what he say do. His rules and regulations, his laws, statutes, commandments. But if you don't, then you don't love him. That's why he said, for the future, prophecy, Isaiah 14:21. And see, these things are known. Everybody had the Old Testament. These things are known. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children. And we say he visited the iniquity of the fathers to the third and fourth generation. Say, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. That's just the way it is. We didn't do it. Still got to pay. Like we paid. Lamentations. Israelites, we paid for what our forefathers did against the Most High. It wasn't the so-called white man that brought us down. It was the Most High. He said, if you don't do what I say do, this is what's going to happen to you. And here we are. Listen, Lamentations 5 and 7. Since you say that's not right, this is what happened to us already. Our fathers have sinned. That's our forefathers. Our fathers have sinned. And are not. They gone. They're not here. Whatever they did. Like y'all say, they punished for whatever they did then. No, listen, our fathers have sinned and are not. They're gone. And we have borne their iniquities. We have carried their iniquities. So that's just the way it is. Most High is a just power. What goes around, comes around. He that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done. And there's no respect of persons with the Most High. So let's go back to 2nd Ezra 6. Verse 13, for it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Most High patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. He dealt with us. That's why when you look at this Bible, these other nations have not seen the judgment of the Most High. Go to Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He's long-suffering. That's why it says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. You hear what it said? He have not dealt so with any nation. And as far as his judgments, them being judged as a nation, they have not known them. Praise ye the Most High. But future prophecy say they will know once their sins are fulfilled. So going back to 2 Maccabees 6, and you go through this whole lesson, you're going to see why. There has to be a judgment. You just open up your eyes to see what's going on right now within our nation and what's happening to us. Let's read. 2 Maccabees 6 and 15. Lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And therefore he never withdraw his mercy from us. He never withdraw his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet does he never forsake his people. It might look like it, but he's still there for us, always. But let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us. And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in few words. Now check this out. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, an older man, and of well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. This is an elderly man. Very looking sharp. Like it says, you're a principal scribe. He was constrained to open his mouth and to eat pig, eat the hog, eat some pork. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment. They made him put it in his mouth. They forced it in his mouth. He spit it out. And chose rather to die and to go to the torment. As it behooved them to come, that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. Because they tell you you're supposed to touch a dead pig carcass. In Leviticus 11 chapter are the dietary laws. Let me read it to you so you'll know about this pig, this hog. And don't get attitude with me. I mean, you got to take it over with the Most High. I didn't write the Bible. Every time you bring out something about pork and stuff, people get attitude. It's all right. Just change. Leviticus 11 and 7. And the swine, that we were talking about, that the pork, though it divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Hear that? He's unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcasses shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. So Eleazar, in his old age, said, I'm not eating. He spit it out. They forced it in his mouth, he spit it out. 2 6 to 21. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, so they knew him a long time, took him aside and said, what? besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. Now they're going to give him some lamb instead of pork, pretending like he's eating the pork, right? Such as was lawful for him to use. Like we just read. You can read the whole book of Leviticus 11 chapters. It's clean and unclean food, what we can eat. And make as it if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. Act like he's eating pork, but it's really lamb or some, or beef or something that we can eat that's clean. To fool the king into thinking that he is really eating swine. Listen, that in so doing, he might be delivered from death. In doing this, he might be delivered from death. And for the old friendship with them find favor. Because they liked him. They was, friends and so forth. And find favor to live, to continue to live. But he began to consider discreetly. And as became his age and the excellency of his ancient years, all the work he done put in, being righteous, living righteous, in the honor of his gray hair, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, learning the laws, living the laws, applying the laws in his life, or rather, the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straight ways to send him to the grave. Hear that? How many people gonna do that in this day and time? He said, send me to the grave. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to disassemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being fourscore years old and 10, that's 90 years old, were now gone to a strange religion. Hear what he said? The young people gonna look up to, the elder, Eleazar, he 90 years old. He gonna sell out some strange religion. He done lived all this long, righteously, all of a sudden, before he died, he gonna eat some swine flesh. And so they, through mind hypocrisy, and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, the Most High only give you, he said he give us 70. That's 70 years. So he's 20 years over the time. He said a few, what he gonna live? A few more years longer? Should be deceived by me. These young people will be deceived by me. And I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable. Hear that? All the work he done, the last thing they remember is he sold out to eat some swine. And make his life abominable. But though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, if he ate the swine. They changed the meat to something that's clean. Lamb or chicken or, beef. Say, for though for this present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Hear that? For though for the present time, listen at this closely, because a lot of y'all out there eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, catfish, crawdads, and crabs, everything that he do. Listen. But though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, if I eat something that's clean, they thinking I'm eating abominable, I'll be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Let's read about it. Let's see if you're going to escape. All you, this is the last scripture that I bring for concerning the dietary laws, what you eat. Let's see if you think you can eat whatever you want to eat, and Most High know your heart. And all you got to do is pray over it. Let's find out if that's true, because you've been lied to. You've really been lied to. Even when you go to First Timothy's, the 4th chapter, it says, those that know the truth. And the truth is the laws of the Most High. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So let's see what's going to happen to those that eat abominable things. You don't want to follow that dietary law? Let's see what's going to happen to you. This is why he's saying what he's saying. He said he might get away from men, the punishment of men, but he don't get away from the punishment the Most High going to bring. Because this is a fact. Isaiah 66:15. This is judgment. That's why you got to change your dietary habits. What you eat, got to change. Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Most High will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. Like flying saucers, coming like a whirlwind. IFOs, identified flying objects, the chariots of the Most High, the angels of the Most High. To render his anger with fury. He come with no love. He coming to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword would the Most High plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Most High shall be many. He gonna kill many people, it says. Who is this talk about here? They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh. That's the pork. Eating pork. The pig, the hog, and the abomination. Anything else that's abominable. Coon, rabbit, squirrels, possums, all that. Dogs, cats, all that. Rats, all that. It's going to tell you. Eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse. And the mouse family. Listen. You think he's not serious? Shall be consumed together. Who said it? Said the Most High. You know what the Most High telling you? It's a judgment. Or you think you ain't going to have to pay? You're already paying with your health, being jacked up, eating wrong things. For I know their works. Most High said, I know your works and their thoughts. Remember, the Most High's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man, and even the secret things you do. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. That's what he's telling us. One more, Isaiah 65 and 31. 65 and 3 and 4. A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face. You got to think about it. We done heard it a few times. The Most High done told us. He said, you don't even touch a dead pig carcass. And he said, he's going to make his abode in you. But you feeding him. He's inside you, and you feeding him pork and doo-doo shrimp and doo-doo crabs and doo-doo lobsters and doo-doo oysters and doo-doo this and doo-doo that, doo-doo that, doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. And the Most High gonna love you? Listen, a people that provoke me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificing in gardens and burn of incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh. Eat pork. What he say? The people that provoke me to anger continually to my face, doing what? Which eat swine's flesh, and broth of abominable things is in their vessels. Man, it's cold, man. Now, you probably say this to me, because I'm bringing it out. You can look at me all you want to. I'm just a messenger. This is what you probably say. Which say, stand by thyself. Get away from me. Stand over there by yourself. Come not near to me. Come not near to me. For I am holier than thou. A lot of you Christians probably feel that way. Because we as Israelites, we know we're not supposed to eat no pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, all those abominable things. Now if that fits you as an Israelite, you really gonna get it. Because those that don't know, you that know, gonna get more stripes than those that know. Listen, but this is what they say. Which say, stand by thyself, stand over there by yourself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose. Hear what he said? These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silence, but will recompense, even recompense into their bosom. Say he gonna get you. Say he gonna get you. Understand this. To the third and fourth generation of them that hate him. Let's continue. Second Ezra 6 and 26 again. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, though I do what they want me to do, and be delivered from the punishment of men, what they plan to do to me, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty. You just read the judgment that's coming on all those that eat abominations. You know what he said? Yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Because he's going to raise you up. If you're dead, he's going to raise you up and still, you still got to deal with the judgment for what we've done. Understand this. Don't think just, oh, I died, now it's all over. No. Look. Go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Get away with nothing, none of us. See, y'all been Christianized. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High. Be afraid, be scared of him, respect the Most High. And what he said in his Bible. And keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment. Everything we've done in these mortal bodies into judgment. With every secret thing, see? That's why he say, know what you're doing. Whether it be good or whether it be evil. There it is. You're going to pay one way or another. If it's good, you can look at the kingdom. That's what this is about. Living forever and ever and ever. Everlasting life. If not, you're going to be cast into the lake of fire. That's what's not being expressed enough to our people. That's why they don't fear the Most High. Y'all bunch of Christian Israelites. You don't tell the people that if they don't get right, they're most likely going to cast them into the lake of fire. Look, this is it. This is it right here. You can read all you want to and learn all you want to. If this ain't happening with us as a people, as individuals, this result. Revelation 20 and 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Read it to you again. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life, was cast into the lake of fire. That's it. So all this is so that our names will be written in the book of life. If not, then you're wasting your time. If ain't nobody trying to show you how your name can be written in the book of life and scaring you or making you afraid of the Most High to respect him, to do what he say do and keep his commandments to show that you do love him, then you're wasting your time, man. You can learn all you want to learn. Still be thrown in the lake of fire if your name ain't written in the book of life, because if you don't know what's right from wrong, they just said what's bad, what's good, and what's evil. Simple as that. 2 Ezra 6. This is a great story because I love it because it gives you fortitude of how powerful we thought of the Most High how powerful it is to follow his law, statutes, commandments, and examples here that anybody else less than that, you ain't even nothing in the eyes of the Most High. That's why you got it written here for us, for our ammunition. Listen. Look at 2nd Maccabees, the 6th chapter. Verse 27. Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age require, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. You hear that? Right in the Apocrypha. To die honorably and holy for the honorable and holy laws. To die for the honorable and holy laws of the Most High. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment by the Europeans, by the Edomites. This is before Mashiach came on earth in the Greek Empire. They that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred. Come on, it was friends, so-called friends, right? So-called friends. See what it says in 22? Verse 22? That in so doing, he might be delivered from death, eating, changing the meat to something that's clean instead of unclean. That's swine. And for the old friendship, with them find favor. The old friendship supposed to be their friends, right? Listen what happened. Once he wouldn't do it, what happened? Verse 29. They that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before, what we just read. Try to get him to eat something that's clean instead of unclean. Hog, pork, pig. They that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred. Into hatred. Real fast, right? Change from friends to hating him. See what it say? They that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred, because the aforesaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. That's why the scripture tell you, we have the examples. We just gotta follow them. It's all here. This is just keeping it real. Most I said in Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10 say, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. See, there was friends. Just come on, man, eat some lamb. It'll be all right. King will think you ate the pork, man. When he refused to do it and say what he said, it turned to be his enemy, hating him. You just read it. That's why I say never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, I'm your friend, man. Come on, man. We've been kicking it all this time. Though he humble himself and go crouching, trying to talk him into eating something that's clean instead of unclean, fooling the king. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou have wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust or his wickedness has not been altogether wiped away. See? There it is. I mean, exactly what happened. He know. Verse 29 again. But they led him, changing the goodwill they bear him a little before, into hatred. Hatred. Because the foresaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, It is manifest unto the Most High, that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten. You start beating them. But in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him, because I fear the Most High. He said because he feared the Most High. He's suffering these things because he feared the Most High, not to sin, not to break the Most High's commandments. And thus this man died, 90 years old, beat a 90-year-old man to death. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue. That's why we're reading about him. Not only unto young men, but unto all his nation, unto all Israel. That's why we read about Eleazar. Let's continue. 2 Maccabees 7:1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. Tormented with scourges and whips. The mother and her 7 sons. But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldst thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Hear that? So we ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Just for eating abomination, something that's abominable. Swine's flesh. Again, that pork, but they love putting that pork on to let you know we didn't touch no dead pig carcass. But one of them, and let me show you, they know what they were doing. Go to Ezekiel 39:23. See? That's why it's great to know these precepts and know what the Most High has given us through this puzzle, through these precepts, through this recipe, through this formula. Listen to what they know. These other nations. Ezekiel 39:23. And you think about if you following them. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel, went into captivity. Why? For their iniquity, for sinning against the Most High. These other nations know this. Because they transgressed against me. We broke the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. Therefore hid I my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies. Not your friends. Therefore he gave us to the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword, according to their uncleanness, and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. See? So they know this. Heathens know this. That we in captivity because of sinning against the Most High. And they tell you now you're not under the law.